Recently, I've made a short where I was talking about reverb movement. In my mixing career, that's what defined my sound, the effects, the reverbs and the delays. Today, I want to show you a more in-depth tutorial on how you can create movement when it comes to reverbs. So let's jump right into the video. I have a vocal track that sounds like this.
Well, maybe I drank just a little too much. The time we spent just wasn't enough. Alone on the road, now we're missing your touch. Looking for a way out, lost in them drugs, I know.
The reverb is way too much at this point, but I just want to showcase the sound. I'm using Valhalla Vintage Verb, and to create movement, I'm going to use Shaper Box 3. Right now I have Shaper Box 3 inserted after the reverb. So basically we have the vocal sent to the reverb. Afterwards we have Shaper Box 3. We can create movement in a lot of different ways. For example, like I did in the short, is to use the volume to create some rhythm. You can always use some of the presets.
Drank just a little too much. The time we spent just wasn't enough. Alone on the road, now we're missing your touch. Looking for a way out, lost in them drugs, I know. I know. Well, maybe I drank just a little too much. The time we spent just wasn't enough. Alone on the road, now we're missing your touch. Looking for a way out, lost in them drugs, I know.
It has some rhythm to it. If we decrease the mix, then we keep the original reverb sound, but also we retain some of that movement.
Well, maybe I drank just a little too much. The time we spent just wasn't enough. Alone on the road, now we're missing your touch. Looking for a way out, lost in them drugs, I know. I know.
Something really subtle like 5%, 10%. I will exaggerate the effect in this video just to make sure that it comes over to YouTube.
Drank just a little too much. Time we spent just...
Another thing that you can do to create really intriguing movements is to use Shaper Box 3 in multiband. For example, we can have a totally different curve on the lower end of the reverb.
This wasn't enough. Alone on the road, now we're missing your touch. Looking for a way out, lost in them drugs, I know. I know.
So this is a really interesting way to use Shaper Box 3 on reverbs. It adds a lot of movement and it makes the reverbs really special. You can use this trick for reverb throws, for example, or on certain sections where you need something special. Now what I want to do is showcase other movements that you can use on reverb. For example, we can use the pan, but I'm not going to use the pan after the reverb because it will sound a bit strange with the entire reverb moving around. This is how it sounds with Shaper Box 3 after the reverb.
Maybe I drank just a little too much. The time we spent just wasn't enough.
It's a pretty interesting effect, but I think that when it comes to panning, it's better to keep the auto panner before the reverb.
Well, maybe I drank just a little too much. The time we spent just wasn't enough. Alone on the road, now we're missing your touch. Looking for a way out, lost in them drugs, I know.
Before diving deeper into this tutorial, I have a big ask. If you like the channel, if you want to support me, drop a like, leave a comment. It helps with the algorithm on YouTube. Thank you.
The time we spent just wasn't enough. Alone on the road now.
Basically, we are moving the original lead vocal before hitting the send left to right. This creates a subtle yet really powerful movement in terms of panning. I highly recommend doing this if you want your reverb not to be that static. You can always use it after the reverb, but I would suggest using something subtle. Let's go with creative.
Now we're missing your touch, looking for a way out, lost in them drugs. I know. Well, maybe I drank just a little too much. The time we spent just wasn't enough. Alone on a road, now we're missing your touch, looking for a way out.
And again, this sort of movement is much better when used in a subtle way. 5%, 10% max. Another way that you can use to achieve movement is to use the width module from Shaperbox 3. This basically increases and decreases the width of your reverb.
Lost in them drugs, I know. Well, maybe I drank just a little too much. The time we spent just wasn't enough. Alone on the road, now we're missing your touch, looking for a way out, lost in them drugs. I know. Well, maybe I drank just a little too much. The time we spent just wasn't enough. Alone on the road, now we're missing your touch, looking for a way out, lost in them drugs. I know.
Really subtle, but again, it's that sort of effect that adds value to your mixes. Adding movement, you can use other plugins before and after your reverbs, panners, stereo width processors, volume shapers like the volume module inside the Shaperbox. The possibilities are endless. Adding multiple modules like the width and the pan.
I know. Well, maybe I drank just a little too much. The time we
can elevate your reverbs to the next level. So these are just a couple of basic ways that I use when it comes to adding more movement to reverbs. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment down below because it really helps the channel. Thanks for the support, follow me on Instagram and see you guys really soon. Cheers.